Hello and welcome to Channels Book Club. I am Olakunle Kasumo. Now, much have been said and written about the old generation icons of literature in Nigeria. Wole Soyinka, Chinua Achebe, J.P. Clark, Elechi Amadi, and others. But attention constantly needs to be drawn to the new generation of creative writers in the country who are telling Nigeria stories in exciting, funny, dramatic, and oftentimes insightful ways. Some of them are earning accolades home and abroad. Their books are being translated, published, and read in different countries overseas. But simply, they are making us proud while living their own dreams of creating and telling stories in ways that entertain us. Lola Shoneyi, Tony Khan, Nike Campbell Fatoki, Chibundu Onuzo, Chika Unigwe, Ife Paul Azeno, Teju Cole, Titi Hosfall. The list is long. You need to visit book festivals in Nigeria and some other African countries to know how respected Nigerian writers are. One of the more outstanding ones is Igoni Barrett, who was born in Port Harcourt, Nigeria in 1979. Igoni is a winner of the 2005 BBC World Service Short Story Competition, the recipient of a Chinua Achebe Center Fellowship, a Norman Mailer Center Fellowship, and a Rockefeller Foundation Bellagio Center residency. His short stories have twice been nominated for a Pushcart Prize. Igoni is also the author of a collection of short stories titled Love is Power or something like that. His new book, which is his first novel, is titled Blackass. It was listed as one of the Channels Book Club Top 15 Nigerian books for 2015. I sat with Igoni Barrett for his first exclusive interview on any Nigerian TV station. It felt good to finally get this emerging African voice to share his thoughts on a range of issues. Enjoy our chat. Igoni, nice to have you on the Channels Book Club.
Pleasure.
A lot of Nigerian writers are out there.
Yeah.
Social media, grant interviews, and so on. You've been a bit quiet over the years.
Yeah.
Why is that so? I've been looking forward to asking you that question.
It's really a fault of mine. I mean, I live in Nigeria, I live in Lagos, I live in Surulere. And if anyone wants to find me, I'm easy to find. But then, for me, it's important to focus on the work. And I finished this book, and I'm working on other things. And so, it's work, basically.
I mean, you just focus more on the craft than
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you think of it as a job. I mean, if I had to, I focus on I think of my writing as my job, as well as my love. And so when I wake up every morning, it's about writing. When I have a break, I'm reading books. I'm trying to catch up on my reading. I'm trying to expand my knowledge to put back into the writing. And so I'm always working. And unlike a 9-to-5 worker, I'm working all the time. Last night I was working till 3 a.m. writing because I felt the spirit. And so my life is basically about writing and moving on, working on the next book. And so I haven't really had invitations, to come to readings. I mean, this is the first invitation to a book reading I've gotten in Nigeria, and I accepted it. Whoa. And you're the first who's invited me on to a TV interview, and I've accepted it. So it depends also on the, it's not that I haven't tried to be reclusive, because I like it. I mean, I do like my privacy, but at the same time, it depends on the offers that come.
Apart from the rigor, the diligence and the hard work involved, what's life like as a Nigerian writer? For you particularly, what's that experience like? What have you experienced? What are you experiencing as somebody who is a writer, who lives in Nigeria, who is Nigerian born?
It's a long process. I mean, actually, Blackass is my third book. My first book was published in 2005, and it was a collection of stories from a writer who was still trying to find his feet. So yes, in a sense, my two official books, Blackass and the last story collection, Love is Power. It's improving. I mean, when I wrote the first book in 2005, I just dropped out of university. I had moved to a small village in Bayelsa. I was living hand to mouth. I was learning the craft. I was trying to become a writer. I wasn't even sure I could call myself a writer at that time. So that was a totally different, and this was 11 years ago. And then when I began to understand what my voice was and what I wanted to do with my writing, I channeled that and into the second book, which was another collection of stories called Love is Power. And when that came out, it came out to some acceptance. It got published in the US, in the UK, in France, and in Nigeria. And that had the immediate effect of providing me with some sort of income. So before then I wasn't really earning anything, and if I needed to pay my bills, I had to do some editing, work. I had to accept a job from Farafina as an editor. I had to work, so writing wasn't paying the bills. But then after Love is Power, I began to see how I could make a life for myself as a writer. But I had to watch my expenses. I had to be careful about going out of the house, and things like that. But then I knew it was time to go to the next book. And Blackass has been commercially, a bigger success than my short story collection. I've gotten more money from it, more attention, and more travel opportunities also, which at some point begins to distract from writing. So so now I'm beginning to balance. Now that some money is coming in, now that I don't have to think too much about money when writing. I find I'm almost back at square one. At that initial time, in 2005, when I was spending all my time writing, and now I'm trying to spend all my time writing and trying to turn down, travel opportunities or, anything that will distract from the work.
That means you've partly answered my next question, but I'm still going to ask Kate. Maybe you could bring in some different perspectives to it. I'm going to ask, now, Blackass is your first novel.
Yes.
How has it changed you? Has it brought new... You've answered part of that, but really, I'm trying to find out if you would situate Blackass, the book, into your life as the writer. What has it done for you?
What it has done is that it's the first thing it did was that it allowed me realize that it allowed me it gave me a different way of expressing myself. I mean, my short story collections are a different type of writing. I think of it as a entirely different genre. With the novel, it was the first novel. I was exploring new territory. I was finding new voices. I was finding a way to say things that some people might consider provocative, but I felt needed to be said about Nigerian society. And so Blackass, in many ways, was a more socially engaged book, which has been relatively well received. I mean, there have been mixed reviews, and but the fact is that it hasn't been ignored. And I would rather have a negative review than
no reviews at all
being ignored. And so that has, in a sense, started a conversation that I'm, happy with, whether you disagree with what the novel says or you agree with it. And so that, in a sense, has shown me the power, in a way, or the importance of my writing in Nigerian society. That hadn't been a question before Blackass. The importance of my writing in the wider world hadn't been a question, because I was getting all my attention from the US and the States. I mean, the first time, even in 2005, when I was still trying to find my feet as a writer, I won the BBC World Service short story competition, which I was happy about. But then I was unhappy because Nigerians weren't really paying attention to my work, and I felt it had something to say to Nigerians. I think Blackass has moved some way towards addressing, that situation. I mean, I know that I have more readers for it than I've had for my two previous books.